Hello, my crafty friends. Well, today we are going to play around with the Aspen Tree Dies, and I'm going to show you 3 different ways that you can use these dies in your card making. Hi, it's Lynn Dunn from Stamptastic Designs. Thanks so much for joining me today. In this episode of Stamptastic TV, I have 3 different card ideas which feature the Aspen Tree Dies, and they are for 3 different holidays. So I'm going to show you how to make these cards and show you how fun these dies really are. Now, the cards in this video feature the Perched in a Tree stamp set from Stampin Up. And of course, they feature the fun little Aspen dies. Now, these dies are actually part of the celebration offering. So they were added to the offering. So you can get these dies for free with a qualifying purchase during celebration. Now, celebration ends at the end of August, so don't wait too long to get your hands on these dies. Okay, so this is the first card that I want to share with you. It's actually the first one that I created with this particular die set. So let me show you how to make this card. So you're going to start with a piece of crumb cake cardstock for the base of your card. And so what we're going to do is we're going to take this die and we're going to lay it right on our card front. We're going to open up our card, we're going to lay this on our card front, and we're going to send it through our embossing machine to cut out this fun little tree-shaped die right into the card front. So here is what it looks like after you run it through your embossing machine. You get this nice little window with the little birch trees in the center of this card. And so you can really put anything you want behind this particular opening. So what I did is I just used some of the celebration paper. So this is just some of that gold. It's a gold and silver pack of paper. And I just put this directly behind here just to add, you know, a fun little decorative background. So with the cards I'm sharing today, you'll learn that you can put a variety of different scenes behind the trees here to create some fun cards for a variety of different occasions. So before we adhere the background to our trees, one of the things that I love about this die is you can just take any of the greetings that are in the stamp set, stamp it on like a 1-inch wide piece of cardstock. So this is 1 by 3 3/4 inches. And then you can just kind of tuck it in this little die cut shape here. Okay, so I have my little greeting tucked in here. I just adhered it on the back side here with just a couple little glue dots on each side. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a 4 by 5 1/4 inch piece of this pattern paper, and I'm just going to adhere it right over this opening on the back side of my card. So I'm just going to add some glue kind of along the edges here, and then we'll adhere this right over that opening. All right, so that's the inside, and then this is what the outside looks like. So it creates just a beautiful little scene in the background. So because I don't want this white paper to show on the inside of my card, I simply cut a 4 by 5 1/4 inch piece of the crumb cake cardstock, and I'm just going to adhere it directly over that white piece. And so that'll just make the inside of my card look a little bit cleaner. Okay, so now we're ready to create the little bird here to go on the front of our card. So let me show you how to make that. So to create this little bird, there's an image in the stamp set, of course, and you can just stamp that on a scrap piece of white cardstock. That's what I did here. I just used some black Memento ink to stamp it, and I'm going to color it in with some different color stamping blends. So I have light and dark colored stamping blends. So I'm going to start with the yellow, and I'm just going to use the light So Saffron, however you want to say it. And I'm just going to add some color to this part of the bird only. And then I'm just going to take the darker marker and just kind of add a little bit darker color in a variety of spots, typically around the outside. So you can add this color around the outside of the bird and just leave this a little bit lighter on the inside. And it just gives it a really nice look. So then I'm going to use the ivory and bronze marker to add the rest of the color. So the first thing I did is I really just colored the rest of the bird using this ivory marker. And then once I got it colored in, then I took the bronze marker and I just kind of highlighted, you know, different parts of the bird here just to give it a little bit of definition. So I just kind of went along the stamped lines, basically, the black lines, and just added some of this brown. And then once I got that done, then I just took the ivory marker again and just went back and went over my original coloring. So this will just make it a little darker brown, and it'll just kind of lighten some of the, you know, the other brown, that bronze that we used. And then I just left like a little area on the belly. I left that uncolored so that it stayed a little bit lighter. So that's what the bird looks like. And then you can just use the coordinating die in the set to cut it out. So now that we have our bird colored, we can just go ahead and kind of tuck it behind our little greeting here. So there you go. And then of course you can embellish it with any kind of embellishments that you want. All right, so here is the second way that you can use this die in your card making. So for this one, I just created this for a different holiday. So you can use this as a winter card or a Christmas card. So let me show you how to make this one. So you're basically going to start with a piece of white cardstock, which is cut to 4 by 5 1/4 inches. And then you're going to take that large die and you're just going to lay it on your cardstock and run it through your embossing machine. And then it will cut out these really beautiful trees that you can use for your card making. So we have some little birch trees here. So the next thing I did is I just took the splatter image from this particular stamp set, the Perched in a Tree stamp set, and I just randomly stamped the splatter image on my card base. So this is just a piece of Night of Navy cardstock, and this is my card base. So I did a little heat embossing with some white embossing powder. And so when you lay this over the top, you get this really fun snow effect in the background. So that is what I used for this particular card. Then I just cut a 1 1/4 by 3 3/4 inch piece of Night of Navy cardstock, and I just embossed a little greeting on there just using that white embossing powder. So then I just tucked my greeting in these little trees, and I will go ahead and secure this. Okay, so I just secured it with a couple little glue dots on the back, and then I'm just going to adhere this directly to my card front. So it's just a fun way to create a little snowy background for this card. Then I just used the same bird image that I used on the previous card, and I colored it pretty much the same way with the ivory and the bronze Stampin' Blends, except this time I used some blues, a little bit of Pool Party ink to color in this part of the bird. And so I'm just going to tuck this right behind here. And I just popped it up with a couple dimensionals. And then I just took one of these little sprig trinkets. So these are just really gorgeous trinkets. And so I'm just going to embellish my card with this little trinket, this little sprig trinket. So I'm just going to add a couple of glue dots. And then once you have the glue dots added, then you can just adhere this right to your card front. So it just creates an absolutely beautiful card, and it's super simple to make. Okay, and the third card idea just features a kind of spooky little Halloween card idea. So I just wanted to show you that you can use this die in a variety of different ways to create cards for really any occasion. So let me show you how I created this one. So I started by using that large die to just cut the tree image right into my card front. So this is just a piece of black cardstock that I'm using for the base of my card. And you can see that I have the die all cut into the front. So we're just going to set this aside for the moment. And we're going to take a 4 by 5 1/4 inch piece of white cardstock. And we're just going to do a little bit of sponging, a little bit of masking on this particular piece. So I just started with a piece of white cardstock. It's just a scrap piece of cardstock. And I took one of my circle shapes using the Stylish Shapes dies, and I just cut this circle shape out of the center of this particular piece of cardstock. And I'm going to use this to create the moon image in my background. So we're going to be using the negative space from cutting out that particular circle shape. And I'm just going to use one of my blending brushes, and we are just going to add some yellow color right in the center here. And then I'm just going to set this little mask aside, and then we're going to take our little circle that we cut out, and we're going to lay this over the top of that moon that we just created, and we're going to add some purple color. And I'm going to be using some Highland Heather ink, and I'll use another blending brush. And basically we're just going to go around and we're going to add this purple color, and I'm just going to keep my finger on this circle shape. So as we go around, we don't turn our yellow moon to purple. All right, so I think that looks pretty good. So we're gonna just slide this in here to see what it looks like. So you can see we got our little moon behind there, and we got kind of just a little bit of purple haze. And so now what I want to do is I want to stamp a couple of images on the inside. So first I'm going to stamp just some of these bat images. So I am actually using a stamp set called Scary Cute. So it has some little bat images and some little silhouettes that you can use for this particular card. So I'm going to just slide this in here and give myself an idea of how this is going to look. And so I want to stamp my little bat images right here, kind of off that part of the moon. So you can see when I close it, I got that little image there. Then I'm going to use this image of the little boy carrying the lantern, and I want to stamp it kind of down towards the bottom. So we are going to go right under those bats, kind of down a little bit towards the bottom. And then we got our little boy kind of in the background. Okay, so I just added a little greeting down on the bottom. I'm just using a 1/2 inch wide piece of Highland Heather cardstock. It's still cut at 3 3/4 inches. So I just adhered it a little lower this time. Just added a couple little glue dots. And then I'm going to go ahead and add this piece to our card front. So I'm just going to go around it with a little bit of glue here. And I'm adding it to the inside cover. And then I just cut an extra piece of black cardstock. So this is 4 by 5 1/4 inches. So I'm just going to lay this right over that white cardstock. And then that is what the card looks like. Isn't that cute? So there's just a variety of different ways that you can use this particular die in your card making. So I have just a really cute little Halloween card now. Okay, so there you go. Now you have 3 different ways that you can use the Aspen Tree dies in your card making. And if you enjoyed these card ideas, feel free to download the printable tutorial. You can find the link in the description below this video. Thanks so much for joining me today. If you enjoyed this video, please let me know by liking it and sharing it with your friends. And leave me a comment below to let me know what you enjoyed most about the video and the cards shared here today. Have a fun and creative day, my friends. Take care.